Hi everyone, this is Kelly and today I'm going to be making the quick blender hollandaise sauce on page 302 of Cookwise. The sauce is an egg butter emulsion and it's going to be made with these ingredients that you see here: lemons, unsalted butter, cayenne pepper, salt, and eggs, and a little bit of water, because liquid is important to hold the emulsion. And after we make this hollandaise sauce, I'm going to take half of it and season it a little differently with those capers that you see on the left and some tarragon. And that's what's going to be called a béarnaise sauce. And so in this project I'm going to apply the principles about emulsions that we've learned. And I'm also going to compare the tastes of these two different sauces. And luckily for my family, I got up early to do this so that with these sauces I can put together some eggs Benedict for their breakfast. Although these sauces have 6 simple ingredients, emulsions can be pretty tricky to make. At the basis of an emulsion is the fact that you're putting together 2 liquids that don't normally want to mix, oil and water, and that in itself can be a pretty daunting task. And so what makes this possible are little particles called emulsifiers. They may be a chemical particle, or in this case a phospholipid. And the important thing about emulsifiers is that they have a hydrophilic region, a water-loving region, that will stick out into the water phase. And the water phase can actually be this continuous phase that flows around the droplets, or it can be the droplets themselves. And that's called the dispersed phase. And so, like I said, it has a hydrophilic region and a hydrophobic region, which in that case will extend into the nonpolar liquid, which is oil or fat. So in this case, we're going to have let's see here, make sure I get this right, an oil and water emulsion. So, and I was really surprised to find that just a few tablespoons of water could hold 1 or 2 cups of oil. I just thought that was really cool. So in this case, the emulsifiers are going to be the lecithin in our egg yolks. Lecithin is a phospholipid like this. Also, the powdered seasonings that we're going to add at the end help to hold emulsions by forming powdery coatings around droplets and keeping them from running into each other. And that's another important principle in emulsions, is that you want to do everything you can to keep the dispersed phase from rejoining. And so another important approach to emulsions is that you don't want to get the mixture too hot so that the collisions of these molecules is increased. And so to start off this sauce, what I'm going to do is heat very slowly, and on a low heat I'm going to heat the egg yolks and lemon and some water together, and I'm going to heat it to the point that we kill salmonella, which is about 160 for 1 minute or 140 degrees for 5 minutes. But in this case, I think it will take more like 5 minutes. We're just going to stir slowly until it thickens a little bit, and that will indicate that it got hot enough to kill salmonella. But we don't want it so hot that the proteins scramble. So we'll start with this heating step next. A little trick for juicing lemons and limes is that you take the whole fruit and with the heel of your hand roll it into a hard surface, and that kind of helps juice it before you cut it open, so that when you cut it open you're not having to squeeze really hard to get the juice out. Now I'm going to strain the juice of the 2 lemons to get all the pulp and seeds out. And I needed to have enough to have 3 tablespoons, so I think that will do it. Got my 4 egg yolks, 3½ tablespoons of lemon juice, and 1 tablespoon of water. And I just now turned on the heat, and I'm going to stir this constantly until it's an even mixture. And then what we're looking for is for it to thicken slightly, and we're going to take it off immediately at that point to not overheat it and continue stirring. I've been stirring for about 4 minutes and it's still pretty thin, but it's holding a smiley face better than it did before. And there's a little bit of, I don't know if you can see with this, but there's a little bit of wrinkling on the, sorry for cutting that off, there's a little bit of wrinkling on the top, like when an egg yolk cooks. So, and since it's holding these spaces longer, I'm going to take it off and stir for 1 minute. Now that the mixture has just thickened, I'm going to pour in an 1/8 teaspoon of salt and a dash of the cayenne pepper. I'm just going to blend that together really quickly. I've melted the butter until it was just melted, and it's not really piping hot. So for these emulsions, we don't want ingredients to be too hot or even too cold, just warm. So I'm going to drizzle this in here while the machine is running. Messy. You can probably hear that it's thickening a lot as I do this. So here is the finished sauce hollandaise. It's very creamy and it has thickened considerably. What I'm going to do is split this in half and then add half of the tarragon and capers for the béarnaise sauce. The recipe made about 1½ cups of sauce, so I've divided that and I'm going to add ½ tablespoon of capers and just a pinch of dried tarragon leaves. So on the right here is the hollandaise after sitting for about 7 minutes. They're both pretty thick and they have a smell kind of like mayonnaise. I've never had them before, so I don't really know what they're supposed to smell like. And I'm going to spoon these over some eggs Benedict here in a second. Here's the eggs Benedict. My dad is going to be the taste tester.